Alright, we should be live. Sorry, I'm just finishing setting up. I would have gone live a couple minutes here. Husband was asking me a question about something. That I was trying to explain the answer to. Alright, so it is Sunday. It is needle felting day. I am falling out of my chair day, it seems. Can't seem to get close enough. These floors are so uneven. My chair keeps rolling backwards every time I try to nudge forward. Alright, I forgot to do one thing before we got started. Here we go. Alright. So, in this series that we've been working on for forever, we've been following along with the Bob Ross tutorials from The Joy of Painting Season 3. We are currently working on episode 12. We are almost done this season. So we are on the 12th part of this installment today, if I have my numbers right. And the link is now in the chat for anyone that wants to see the tutorial in full. I'm going to go ahead and pin that. That'll take you to the Bob Ross YouTube page where you can watch that in full, because I have it in the bottom corner and I have it paused most of the time. And when I do have it running, I have it muted, so we just have the closed captions on. But, yeah, so I doubt we'll be done today. We still have a ways to go. Tomorrow, I don't know. It really depends on how far we get today. So I did a test sketch, like an idea thought processing sketch. That is in the upper left-hand corner. It's a little different than Bob's, for sure. In fact, I accidentally omitted a larger shrub over here. Don't know if I'm gonna put that back in yet. I'm not certain. I might leave it out, because you can see that it's missing in my sketch, but it's definitely there in the tutorial. But as Bob says, you know, we all see things a little bit differently. And when we were first working on this guy, I honestly didn't even realize that was there. So, oops, my bad. So when we last left off, we were working on our dirt pathway here. And trying to get that all stabbed in here. I use acrylic yarn. Traditionally, most people use roving, and I do have some roving. I just don't have very much. And the roving I have came from like an assorted colors bundle. And I could order like 3 of the same bundle and not be guaranteed to get the same colors in the bundle. Plus, that bundle was like more for like making little figurines and stuff based on the amount that they give you. Kind of like a small sampler size thing. We go through quite a bit of fluff doing these. So, it's actually more cost effective for me to use the acrylic yarn. The acrylic yarn takes a little bit more prep work. Sorry, tapped the microphone trying to adjust it. It takes a little more prep work. But budget-wise, it's been fantastic. Like, I'm using the same ball of dark brown since when we started this. I haven't had to replace any colors. I've certainly added to my color family, but I haven't had to replace anybody yet. The white we're a little bit close on, and we've done more than just these. Like, we've done some critters. There's a blue color that I got close to needing to replace too, but that was because the husband's last Christmas present took a lot of it. But we've definitely gotten some decent mileage out of the yarn that I have bought. And I think we've been working on this project for about 2 years now, maybe going on 3. It's taken us a while to get through these. It's not a fast medium for me. This is the long game we're playing here. So, plus, since I know how long each project can be, especially since I tend to meander and wander, when I'm done the project completely, I tend to go back and try to edit all of the live streams together into a speed felt, like a speed paint, or like a time lapse kinda, and just kind of mush everything together to take it down from, like 12 to 14 live stream sessions at like 2 to 3 hours a piece, down to like a 2.5 hour video. So, which is probably a lot easier to click through than having to click each individual one, and then you don't have to feel guilty about putting it on mute, because I don't have my voice running in those. I don't do a voiceover. I just put some background music in and let it go. So we are currently working on putting in our pathway here. Down towards the bottom. Sometimes Bob jumps around a little bit. Sometimes I have to jump around, because the order in which he can do stuff with paint doesn't always mean that I can do it in that order with fluff, or maybe it's not always the easiest way to do it. So there will be times where either Bob will jump way ahead of where we are for a second, or I will choose to come back and do that later as we get down to it, like with the lake. Bob put that in pretty early on, like when he was doing the sky, and it wasn't the right time to put the sky in, or the lake in at the same time as the sky with this medium, because this medium will, we're working on a piece of craft felt as our base, as our canvas, if you will. So when we do that, the fibers from the surrounding area on the base felt will like pull and they'll like get pulled in and tighten as you're working along. So you'll notice at one point we had skipped a section. I think maybe it was around the mountains, or maybe it was around the lake, because we hadn't gotten there quite yet. And it was a little like baggy almost, and everything else was pulled a little bit tighter around it. And so it was just a better idea to wait and attempt to put the lake in as we were coming down and got to it. So sometimes we have to do things a little bit out of order based on what the situation calls for. So I think I might stick more closely to our reference sketch that we made up in the top corner. Not really at this very moment feeling the need for that shrubbery over here. We'll see. I'd kind of like to have that area open over there. Hang on, I had a headband on, but it is making my hair itch, and it's becoming a distraction at this point. So we'll just have to omit that today. It feels a little tight today anyway, so. Okay. So, I do have a video on how I prep the yarn on the YouTube channel. It's at the beginning of the Nisey Needle Felts playlist. So you can go back and see that, because I don't tend to prep the yarn on stream because it can be a little time consuming, and let's face it, it's gonna get boring. Nobody really wants to sit there and watch me brush yarn out. Let's face it. Say this is boring enough on its own, let alone watching the prep for it. Once in a great while I might do a prepping stream. Like, we do our reference sketch for these on stream, but those aren't quite so boring, because, you know, we're talking through, we're planning, you know, but just sitting there brushing out the yarn can be a little much. But I do need to get a whole bunch of yarn fluffed here fairly soon. So we are on episode 12. 2 a week. Although I think 1 week we only did 1. So 6 weeks maybe. Maybe 7 weeks so far on this one. So I think we might be able to finish this season, or following along with this series, before I have to start Christmas presents. So that is fantastic. And I already know what I'm going to do for the husband's Christmas gift, so that's a battle already figured out. Not really sure what I'm gonna do for his mom or his aunt. or my mom for that fact. So I'm just not sure. This one's a little bit longer. Just a little bit. You don't necessarily have to roll it into these fluff snakes. It just works better for me. Especially if you're using roving, you can just kind of lay the roving bits down. But my brain likes the outcome of rolling the pieces together. I don't need to do as many layers, or at least it feels like I don't. So we're just putting the base coloration of our pathway down first. And then we will get our pathway highlighted. Did you need to work on that sooner? Like, did I need to give you the gesso so you can just do it yourself?
No.
Okay.
It was just an idea that crossed my mind while I was watching your video.
I didn't know if this was something that you were jonesing to get done, like, right now. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Probably snip that about there. Probably a good snipping spot. So when you're using any of the fabric mats, you're going to want to peel up off the mat every so often, more often than not, so that you don't become too attached to your mat. Because you could damage the mat if it's really stuck in there and you're trying to peel it up. Like, I've got a slight mountain forming in the middle of mine because I accidentally forgot to lift up. It's not too bad, and it usually can get pushed back down into place. We've been using this mat for almost a year. I think in August it'll be about a year, and I'm pretty happy with it. Not sponsored. It is from Wool Buddy. I wasn't a huge fan of, there's one, and I can't remember the name of it, that had like a sheep on the front label. It might have been it was either a felt or a wool felting mat. It was gray. It was kind of, what the hell was it? I think it was like 8x10 or something. It was okay, but I had accidentally forgot to pull up off the mat and didn't realize I hadn't done it for quite a while until I went to pull the project up, and it was pretty well stuck in there, and it took quite a lot of effort to get the project off of it. And then after I did, a dome started forming, and it was getting worse and worse and worse, and it just got to the point where it was pretty much unusable for me because it was turning into a bowl. So, the one side definitely had the crater. It looked like an upside down bowl at times. So I was like, yeah, we need a new mat. But, this mat's been pretty good for us so far. I think this one is wool. So keep that in mind if, it's either wool or felt or a combination of. Keep that in mind if you have a wool allergy. Double check what it's made out of. A lot of people tend to go with the foam mats. I don't really like the foam mats. In my brain, it's something that's gonna have to get replaced a lot sooner. Because it's gonna be constantly getting scrunched down. And will deteriorate a bit faster. If you're doing critters, it might not be so much of an issue. But for this, I'd rather invest in something that's going to last me a bit longer. This I think was about $30, this mat. So it was a little pricey, but it's holding up fairly well. So if it's gonna last, I don't mind putting the money into it, you know? I just didn't want to drop 30 bucks into something that I was going to replace in 6 months. Although I guess even 6 months in still wouldn't be that bad. But at the time when I got this, our budget was really freaking tight. So I was nervous about getting it because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it or if it was gonna hold up, but it's been doing fairly well. Because, I mean, we definitely put it through its paces doing these needle felted style paintings. 100%. Okay. Alright, you don't have to necessarily do the brushing down part on the back. It's just something that I have found personally that helps keep the piece laying pretty flat. So you don't get too many like peaks and valleys happening. Unless that's something that you're going for, in which case then that's fine. Do whatever. Alright. Now, I also tend to overlap my sections of fluff here, just so we don't get any strange seams happening or any weird gaps in between each color going in. Say it's okay to overlap them a little bit. So in fact, you probably would be better off overlapping them a little. At least in some places. So we never did get any thunderstorms last night. For those that were around during the bonus stream. Again, sorry I was getting ranty about the fireworks, but they were a little much for us to be several blocks away. Like, I don't know, we might be 12 blocks or so from the high school. It's not like we're right next to it. So it was a little jarring to have the entire house shudder. And the floor and desk and everything vibrating. I'm glad I wasn't doing anything that required steady hand, because I jumped a couple of times. But it never did storm last night. We did get a couple of rain showers. It rained for maybe an hour, lightly. We really needed more rain than that, because it's been so hot. My pea plants are pretty much dead. The heat got them. I don't know if they're going to come back.
Which things?
The peas.
No, they're dead. They're particularly bad right now.
Yeah, I saw some dead pods out there too. I was like, oh, we didn't get those in time.
I didn't know they would go brown quite that quick.
Yeah, they went like a white brown. I was like, oh.
Like overnight.
Yeah, they got crispy. I'm like, oh. Right. This is our first experience growing those. But our cucumbers are starting to come in. Somebody's got some beehives around us, because these bees are just having a field day with those cucumbers and the catnip in our yard. Even our sunflowers gave up in the heat. They're like, no, we're out.
Well, there must be a new bumblebee hive nearby, because it's mostly bumblebees.
Somebody's got something.
As opposed to honeybees.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a wild hive.
It might be.
Oh, speaking of, we need to pull the ivy down by the one kitchen window.
Okay.
Because I saw some bees investigating that, and I really don't want them to decide to try to put a hive there. Up underneath of the ivy.
I doubt they would, but I will grab some gloves and try to do that in a little bit.
But, we've been battling the wasps trying to form hives in our carport. One was trying to build a hive inside one of my wind chimes and like the metal tubes of it. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, that's not where you want to be. There is not enough room in there. That is going to move in the wind.
Oh, different kind of wasp. It's not an angry boy wasp.
All wasps are angry ever since I got stung from the nest that was in the ground. So I didn't know wasps would build a nest underground.
It depends on the species, dear. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I didn't know that that was possible. I did not know.
The ones in the wind chime are like mud daubers. They're harmless.
But the ones in the ground, when I accidentally stepped next to or near their nest, they got angry. And I didn't even know there was anything there. And I got stung in 2 places through my pants. And that hurt terribly. Ever since that day, I'm like, nope, you win. You can have the clothesline. I don't care anymore. I didn't want spiders getting in my clothes, hanging them outside anyway.
Is that what you're doing when you got stung?
Yep, I was hanging guinea pig laundry. Or pulling it down. And I was like, oh, no, 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 we're done with this. All right. Didn't you order a coffee pot?
Yeah, it's supposed to show up today.
Okay, I'm like, I feel like it should have been here by now.
Oh my god.
What did I do now?
Oh no, nothing. I just hit the another part where you talk with your hands.
Well, I'm sorry.
And they're hard to spot sometimes.
Either I'm not doing it that much in the one I'm editing, or I'm just having an easier time spotting it.
Well, it wasn't so bad previous videos, but this specific video, you kept doing it.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. It happens.
And more importantly, you're not like using your full hands in the frame to talk to someone. Like, it's literally you holding onto a piece of fluff and wiggling it around. So it's a little hard to spot.
That would be the anxiety coming through. I think I'm about halfway through episode 6 on the season, or part 6 on the episode I'm working on. So I guess I'm at about the full halfway point.
I'm on episode 10 of this one. Oh, they pushed the coffee pot back to tomorrow. Oh no, today's Sunday. Never mind. I was just off.
Was it always supposed to show up tomorrow?
Huh?
Was it always supposed to show up tomorrow?
Yeah, it was supposed to show up Monday.
I was gonna say, because sometimes Amazon does deliver on Sunday. We have some showers in the area and some thunderstorms in the area. We haven't gotten any of it today. I swear one of these days I'll remember to charge my wireless headphones. I usually try to remember to put them on before I go to bed, but I've been forgetting lately. The wire on them is so short. I have such a hard time getting it plugged in, and I think that's why my brain avoids trying to make sure I've done it. Because it's a little bit of a tough reach for me to plug it in where it is. But wow, we've got a lot of colors that we have to fluff here before we do our next project. I am going to be very busy and probably have some sore fingers because I usually end up missing and scraping my fingers with the brush instead of my yarn. Okay, now this is just our base coat, if you will, of our pathway. Alright, I just have this tiny little piece. I think I'm gonna just kind of tap it in there. So I didn't order more dowel rods. I forgot. I keep forgetting. So I only have 2 half dowel rods left. So this project and the next one are only going to have 1 dowel rod at the top. And honestly, I should probably be taking a needle and thread after we glue it in place and using that to secure the dowel rod so that the hot glue that I use doesn't let go, because I had one hot glue section while I was working on it, it just peeled right off. I was like, oh no. No. I've done tacky glue before, but that takes quite a while to dry to make sure that you've secured it. And sometimes the tacky glue hot glue combo doesn't really work. Maybe that's what happened on that one. Maybe I did both. So we're only going to have a dowel at the top to hang it with. That means that the bottom edge we're going to have to keep pretty clean. I probably should have did a row of tape at the bottom as well. Didn't really think about it. I need to get another roll of tape to make sure I've got plenty, at least in that particular width. I picked up some more tape, but it was drafting tape, and it's pretty thin. I was expecting to find some masking tape when we were at the art store, and I didn't see any. I guess I wasn't looking in the right spot. Like, there could be 3 different places that could be at. Oh, I did hear feet. Hi. Hi. Give me a second, Momo. Alright, Momo is demanding potty. So I need to get him out. I will be right back. I'm going to run an ad break while we're gone. It's just going to be a minute ad break. So the ad will most likely be done by the time we come back. So just sit tight, and we'll be back momentarily. Okay, making sure I unmuted the right thing. Sorry, the outside critters decided to all follow me. We have 2 outside cats. One we don't normally see this time of the day, and she materialized from somewhere. And then we think possibly maybe one of her kittens that's older, or this younger male cat that just showed up out of nowhere. He's not real friendly with the dogs. He doesn't straight up try to attack them, but I don't know if he's trying to play with them and he doesn't know how. But he lunged a couple times, or tried to lunge a couple times, before I caught him trying to do it. He upsets the doggos, so then I have to pick the doggos up. They're little doggos, by the way. I've done big dogs before. I like bigger dogs, don't get me wrong. It's just that I'm not a very nimble, strong person. And when our large dogs had issues, I could not physically pick them up to help them with their issues, which was very distressing.
I mean, to be fair, none of us were strong enough to lift those dogs.
Yeah, so,
Very heavy dogs.
So it's better to have a smaller dog for us that we can pick up in the event of an emergency, or if they're having a problem, where we can just grab them and go if the situation calls for. So these guys are, the one comes up to, his head comes up to about my knee, and the other one maybe just below my knee. And they're under, well, they're about 20 pounds-ish. The one might be closer to 25, but they're around that range. And so that doggo was kind of taking his time, peeing, dicking around. I caught a glimpse of the neighbor stepping out on her back porch. Thankfully, she didn't say anything, or else Momo would have been hell-bent on going over to see her. And I'm like, I don't have time for this. I don't know if she heard me talking to the cats and stepped outside. But those 2 cats are hell-bent on peeing wherever the dogs do. It's kind of hilarious. And the female cat seems to be in love with the dogs. She keeps trying to brush up against them and scent mark them, and that freaks them out, because they're like, what's happening? The cats inside don't do this. And I'm like, it's fine, buddy. You're fine. She doesn't mean anything by it. It's a good thing. You're okay. But we can't bring them in, because A, we don't know if they actually belong to somebody, although the longer they're hanging out here, the more I think they don't. And we are all full on cats inside. We technically have more cats than we should. The latest cat we had was part of the cat distribution system. These 2 want to be part of the cat distribution system that are currently outside, but finances are like, no, finances and room. The house is not big enough to bring in more cattos that are gonna be angry at each other. almost done putting this pathway, or at least the bones of the pathway down in here. Just gonna fold that little bit of our tail from that side. It's a little small to bother with trimming it. I've been all sorts of fumbly fingers and hands the past 24 hours, so I don't want to drop it. Alright, so we don't have too much more to go on this section. Certainly looks like it wants to thunderstorm outside. When I first went outside this morning, my glasses fogged up. I was like, oh no, this is not cool. Like, that rain last night didn't do anything to help matters. And it didn't last very long either. Which was kind of sad. Like, I don't want us getting into a drought situation here. And we were doing a little good there for a bit. We had a couple good drenchings. And then we just entered baked potato stage of summer season here pretty early. Or at least it feels a little early. I'm probably gonna have to go one more bit of fluff here. Trying to avoid that, but I think we're gonna have to. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, I am gonna trim this because that's a little thick there. If my scissors will behave. Okay. Gently peel up on that. Okay. So yeah, we need just a little bit more in here. Just to kind of fill in that very bottom edge here. Because our bottom edge, we don't have a dowel to cover any any oopsies down here, so we have to be pretty straight, or at least as on our line as possible. Not always easy when you're working with fiber to get a straight line. We try. Sometimes we can make it happen. So when we trim off this excess on the bottom, we might have to do a little cleanup on the bottom edge just to keep any little hangy guys from hanging down across the bottom. That's not that big of a deal. Alright, let's get another fluff snake going. Alright. So hope everybody's having a good weekend. We will not be doing a bonus stream tonight. I have things I have to do. We try to have a board game night with my mom. I have dishes I have to do. I've got stuff I've got to do. Stuff that I put off doing last night. So just won't have time to tonight. But last night's bonus painting stream went pretty well. We might try to do another one next week. And we'll see how that goes. So this doesn't have to be completely straight down here, but I at least wanted to fill in along our pen line, because we are going to clean up this bottom edge with some scissors and cut off this excess when we get to it. And you always want to come back in and just retap the area where you just trimmed from, because you're going to have the little loose flyaway edges from where you just snipped, and you're probably going to want to tack those down. I do. So that's what we're taking care of there. Alright, so we're going to gently peel that up. Alright, so there's our pathway there. It's probably time that we turn our mat. We haven't done that yet today. Okay, so now we need to highlight our calf. So we're going to grab our lighter brown color here. So we're using soft fudge. A section of that. I don't need that much. So this is from Paintbox. Not sponsored. I've bought every single ball of yarn, or it was gifted. Either Christmas presents or birthday gifts or whatever, or bought and paid for by me. Not sponsored. And this we got from the Love Crafts website. It was this Paintbox Simply Chunky. Although it seems like their colors tend to run the same shade across the different products that they have. So like their regular There's Simply Chunky. There's Super Simply Chunky. You won't be able to get every shade in every ply, I guess we'll call it. Every type of yarn they have. But the Simply Chunky and I think the DK have the most variety of their shades. They have a Super Simply Chunky, but I don't think there's as many shades available. I could be wrong about that. The last time I was on their website, which was a while ago, there didn't seem to be as many shades, but that could have just been a at the moment type deal. And I went with the Simply Chunky because I think I had more colors at the time, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna pay the same price between this and that one, the Simply Chunky is a little bit thicker than the DK, so maybe I'll get more fiber from it, is what my mentality was on that. I was like, well, what can we, because the balls are smaller on Paintbox compared to like the big twist skeins from Joann's. And I left that spot there for a reason that I'm gonna come back and deal with in just a second. Sorry, I had to change what I have playing in my ears. You guys can't hear it. I haven't found a background music that I can put on here that won't get me nailed for something and get the stream muted, that I can use between here and the YouTube channel, since these VODs live in both places for a little while at least. And I try to archive the live streams. Most of the live streams I archive on the YouTube channel. So just have our bit of lighter brown here. I'm trying to use as our pathway highlight here. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Hello, Tommy. How are you today? I'm alright. Hope you're doing well. We are working on stabbing our way through our needle felting here. And we're getting into the home stretch on this one. We've still got a little ways to go. I think, in all honesty, it's going to be at least 2 more sessions. It might not be, but I've got to do some shrubs on this still and grass. And we haven't even started that yet, so I think at least 2 more sessions, or maybe a session and a half. So I think we'll still be finishing this guy up next Sunday. Maybe. Kind of depends on how things go. That was a very loud truck. Have you heard of NCS Music Station? No, I don't know what that is. I was using Pretzel for a while, and it was supposed to be stream friendly, and I was having trouble getting the attributions to post in chat. Excuse me. And then I did finally get it working in the chat. Sorry, bad allergy day. my voice got all shitty. I finally got it working in the chat, and then a section of my stream got muted because of what they were playing. I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be streamer friendly. So then I got mad, and I'm just like, you know what? It's not worth the strike at that point, or the DMCA thing, because whatever I was doing, I needed it to I needed that VOD to go to YouTube, and I was really mad that a section of it got muted, and I'm like, well, this is not helpful at all. So I need it to be friendly for both platforms. That's what you learned to use for another streamer. It helps prevent you from being copyrighted. I'll have to look into it. Is it like a Twitch extension or something? The husband usually helps me figure out all the techie things. But sometimes my brain is just dumbfounded, and I'm like, but what do I do? What do I do to make it do the thing? Because sometimes tutorials and video explanations just don't cut through my brain. And sometimes written guides are a little difficult for me to parse because of how I process stuff, and I'm also dyslexic. And it always comes through at like the worst moments, and I'm like, really? Really, brain? Its full name is No Copyright Sounds, but the channel is titled both NCS and No Copyright Sounds. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to try to find out some more information about it. Because I know some channels have worked with some music creators, and they'll get like some stuff from them that they can use. It needs to be airy. I don't want this thick. Because if it's thick, it's not gonna really look very highlighty. It's just gonna look like we're trying to cover up the brown. The dark brown entirely. This kind of feels like a sandy color. Sandy tan, maybe. For the shade that we're trying to put in here. Emphasis on the word trying. It can be actually a Twitch extension, but mostly a music station on Spotify and YouTube and Amazon. Really, it's on Spotify. Right, I have a Spotify account. I'll have to look into that. Because I feel bad, because I know this is boring. And you guys can't listen to what I have playing in my ears, because Copyright Hammer Central. So that's not gonna fly. Pretty sure Linkin Park and Vitamin String Quartet and Lindsey Sterling would be a little not cool with that, so definitely have to have stuff that's not gonna get me muted and what have you. Like, it doesn't matter so much when I'm doing the speed videos and doing the time lapses, because those are all muted anyway, and I have music from the YouTube library that I can put under it. Like, that's not a big deal. It's a little time consuming, but it's not a big deal. It might take me an hour or two to, well, maybe not 2 hours, maybe about an hour to lay the music on the speed paints and speed felts. It takes me that long because of how I do it. Because I've seen so many people ask for, oh, what track is playing at this in other YouTube videos, and I'm like, I wouldn't know what I put where, so I kind of try to make sure I'm paying attention. I try to do a timestamp list. Sometimes I remember to put it in the video description. Sometimes. They actually have pretty good music on their station. Alright, well, I'll have to look into it a little bit more before I let it loose on the stream. But thank you. I will look into that. So, how are you? What are you up to today? I think the husband's working on some video editing for me. Or at least he was. I don't know if he still is.
Not at the moment.
He's a little bit faster at it than I am because my brain gets distracted. Because I'll be sitting there attempting to video edit and I'm like, I'll have a thought and I'm like, huh. And then my brain's like, I have the means to look this up. Let's just look it up now before I forget. And then before I know it, it's been like 20 minutes and I'm suddenly scrolling on Twitter. I'm like, I'm supposed to be video editing. I think the other night I was going to video edit and I couldn't find anything to listen to. I probably should have put on Decoding the Unknown or The Casual Criminalist. I haven't listened to any of those recently, so that would probably keep my brain at least background entertained. I gotta have, like, different things going on. Or else I can't concentrate. Man, sometimes I can concentrate in the silence. Sometimes. It's very rare. But sometimes, man, silence can be suffocating. And be so loud. That my brain's like, yeah, no, it's too quiet. Something else has to be happening. There needs to be something. And the one thing I've been using to entertain the background side of my brain while I've been editing, I'm caught up on. Because of course I am. And there's been no new stuff, although I'll listen to a lot of the Emily D. Baker stuff. Her live streams in the background sometimes when I haven't caught one in a while. She was recently doing trial coverage, so I was listening to that. I was catching up. I was part of her replay crew. Because when she's doing live trial coverage, I'm streaming, so. Because of course I am. So I caught that up, and now they're on Verdict Watch, and I'm like, yeah, okay. She's got another trial that she wants to cover coming up in July. But that's in July, not going to help me now, so. You're working on your acrylic painting and watching Twitch streams and posting stuff to your YouTube channel. Nothing too much, though. Alright. Not bad. Not bad for a Sunday afternoon. I think it's Sunday. It should be Sunday. Oh, we have to put the trash on the curb today. I I don't put it out in the universe now, I'm going to completely forget later. It's only a mild guarantee I'll remember later. We did an oil painting stream last night. I actually had some views on that last night. Got rated from somebody that I knew from my World of Warcraft days. I think that's enough highlight there. Like this color, I probably won't have to fluff more for a while. The brown's another story though. Okay. Speaking of brown, we need to get a little bit more of that. I have to either tonight or tomorrow morning. I don't know. I'm piling a lot up on my plate tonight, so it might not actually happen until Tuesday or late Monday night. I need to schedule this week's live stream VODs to go live on the YouTube channel. But I've got dishes I have to do tonight. We might be doing board game night with my mom. I have some stuff I need to get gessoed. I've got to get the dowel rods for this project and the one after this one. Might as well gesso them both at the same time. That way I don't have to worry about it. I was gonna gesso them last week? Whatever, maybe 2 weeks ago, when I had the gesso out and I was doing something else. But what I was working on getting gessoed took me like 2 hours. I was working on getting our wood slices gessoed, and they all needed 2 coats because they were thirsty guys. And the time it took for me to get through that, between each coat drying and being dry enough to put away, I think I could only do like 6 or 8 at a time, and I had 25 of them. And it took a minute because I had to make sure they were completely dry before I stacked them back in their box so they didn't stick together. Because, oh buddy, that would have been a nightmare. Okay. Alright. Okay. Trying to get my thoughts together here. Have you heard of Victor Yushkiev? He's an acrylic painter on YouTube, and he paints with far more detail than Bob Ross did. No, I don't think I've heard of him. At least not where it's standing out in my brain. I'll have to see if I come across his channel when I have a hot minute to take a look at that, maybe later tonight while I'm gessoing stuff. Okay, so Bob highlighted his pathway, and I'm gonna see where he's at in the tutorial, so we might be deviating from the tutorial at this point. You didn't either until Thursday night. Interesting. I know what we did last night. We weren't following a tutorial. We just kind of went for it. And I do think I'm getting a little quicker at it. Because when I was starting out and following the tutorials and trying to learn it, it would take me like 4 hours to do a small one. Like a 4-inch size painting, and now it's like down to about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Depends on what I'm doing though. Alright, so he's adding in the shrubbies on the side. Maybe I put it in and I just didn't do it at the right scale. That is possible. So he's got the yellowy one the Indian yellowy one. Okay, Bob. So where are you going with that one? Look at my sketch here. Okay. Oh, we totally omitted that. Interesting. Huh. I don't know what my brain was seeing when I did that. Wow. So I took that and made them flat in my brain. That's fascinating. Because I just looked at the finished one. And we were doing it quickly, so I didn't really have time to look real far into it. So that's... Huh. It's amazing how I see it look one way. Oh, I guess we just decided to do that then. No wonder I was confused with that one. I thought there was tree trunks in there, and then when I was trying to figure it out as we were going, it looked very, very different. How do you still have 10 minutes to go, Bob? I don't understand. Alright, well, let's back that up a little bit. The camera work on this season was real big on the 3/4 angle view instead of a straight-on view. Yeah, but I need to see a head-on view, Bob. This is why I think we've been struggling. Can we just get Bob? Bob's cameraman. Alright, we're just gonna have to make do with a 3/4 view then. I really wanted a head-on shot, but that doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I guess that's about as good as we're gonna get. You will be right back. You have to run downstairs and work on painting more. Do you have a link to your Twitch? Yeah, it should be. It should be on the About page on here. Let me double check. Sorry, I just saw your comment. I was fighting with Bob. Yeah, under the About section, there's the link to the X Twitter, the YouTube channel, the Ko-fi, and the Instagram. All of those should be there. Alright, Bob. So, let me look at my notes here. So, the far bush, middle, left, right, light green, and mustard. Only did 2 colors on that one. What was the grass that we stuck in there? Forest green and grass green. Okay. So he's got some tall grass. He hasn't done it yet, but he's got tall grass on in here. Now he probably just took his little script liner brush and popped them in there. However, for me to do it, we're gonna jump ahead and do it now. And then, because I have to put the shrubs in on top of it. So, that grass is... Wow, I used forest green for a lot of stuff in here. I hope I've got enough fluffed. Let me see if I can find where he puts that in. He does that shrub. At least I saw it. Did I? Maybe I hallucinated it. I could have hallucinated it, because I don't see it now. He's working on that tree. Let me see. What's the final one of this look like? You can kind of see it a little bit in there. Wow. Okay, I just decided it was there, I guess. Alright. You know what? I'm gonna put it in anyway, because Bob says we can do what we want. Right? So, why the heck not? Forest green, grass green. I have to find my colors though. Oof. I've got a bucket here. And I've got all of our project colors thrown into. So that way I don't have to keep getting up and pulling them off of our fluff wall. Okay, so we're gonna do this kind of like how we did the grass up in here. We're gonna grab some of our, that's probably too much. Grab some of our grass green. Yeah? Yeah, grass green. Still probably too much. Like this might be too much. We'll go with it. Because I don't use this color. This is a new color, actually. Because I don't remember using this color that much, but this is a new color. I think when we go about fluffing these bags, I'm going to really stuff them. And see if I can get the air out, just to see how much we can get in each bag. Alright, so this is our forest green. Alright, we'll probably do just a little bit more of the forest green. Okay. Let's tuck that into that pouch. Set the pouches on the other side of the desk there. That's amazing. I thought there was grass there. It looked like there was grassy things there. You know what? I like my sketch better. Bob says it's our world. We all see things differently. And I guess at the time when I was doing the sketch, I saw some tall grassy things back there. And Bob was teaching us to be able to do this on our own. Right? So that's what we're attempting to do here. I'm gonna scrape these out. And I'm gonna work on tacking the tips down first. Just so we can get our height in here. And we're probably going to have some of the blue from the lake water poking through there, and that's okay. That's alright. Probably a little better that it does. Alright, now we don't necessarily want this to be the same height all the way across, so we want to vary our height a little bit where we can. Sometimes that's a little easier said than done. I know it is. But we're gonna try. We can only but try, you know? Okay. So, gently now. Okay. I am gonna brush that down back there, just so we don't end up with any weirdness happening on the front. Okay. So I'm gonna just use the needle to scrape the fluff out a little bit, flare it out. Kind of give it the opportunity to do its own thing within reason. Like, we don't want it getting too carried away. That wouldn't be good. Oh, fuzzy nose. We've got fuzz everywhere. Alright. So we're not doing too bad on time. We did get the pathway finished up. And we did get it highlighted. And we're going to start to put in this taller grass here. Okay, we actually might need a bit more of this. I got a little nervous there. I was like, uh-oh, we're doing too much. But if I take this straight across, then I will need a little bit more. See, yeah, we will need a little bit more then to get the other side. You know what, it's okay that we can see the lake through this. We probably won't once we get the other shrubs in. But it gives it a little bit more of a tall, wavy feeling, like it's not completely solid. I wasn't really looking for something super solid there. Just a little something. We will see how things go. Okay. My keyboard tray keeps creaking because of the way I'm leaning on it. I'm trying not to lean that hard into it, but where it's located, I don't really have a whole lot of a choice in that matter. Actually, let me get you a little bit tighter so I can at least get your base down in here. All right. So I'll get you tacked down into there. And looking at my sketch, I didn't take that the whole way over, but it was visible peeking out in between some of the shrubbery, so I think for actual implementation purposes here, we are going to take it all the way across, because we can. And it's easier to physically do it and have it make sense than it is with the colored pencils, because it was just a quick idea lay-in, so. Okay. So let's see what we can get going here. I was gonna do some Diablo last night after I got done everything off stream, but then I was too tired. And I saw what time it was, and I'm like, eh. So then I was like, you know what? Let's start a new Coral Island farm. I got like 10 minutes into it, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to bed. I think I'm more tired than I realized. This grass green feels almost not like a neon green, but it's, I don't know, it doesn't feel dark enough to really be a grass green. Although, who am I to say our grass is turning like the shade of yellow ochre out there? I would rather have like landscape rock or something out there, or fake grass that I don't have to mow or worry about growing too tall. Something like that. I don't have to water. I'd be okay with that. Not really practical outside here because we take the dogs out to pee, so it probably wouldn't work with dogs peeing on it. Unless it had like drain holes built in. That's not looking too bad. I'm gonna see if we can use that to push our lake back just a little bit. Sorry, I thought I had a smudge on my glasses. It was a little... annoying. I also need to, I don't know. I should probably do a link tree. Probably. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to mix another round of this. That's okay, though. That's alright. Kind of funny. My plastic acrylic palette, the newer one I just got, is so staticky when I'm cleaning it. If I have my wired headphones on and I get near the wire, I hear all the crackling in my headphones and I'm like, oh, let's move this away. Like all the hairs on my arm will start standing up. It's like, why are you this staticky though? I do keep it in a plastic container for storage purposes after I clean it, just to try to keep the animal fluff to a minimum down from getting on it. Because it just tends to float through the air. You okay?
Uh-huh.
Actually, I'm going to do a weather check here. It's 90 and feels like 102. But no heat advisory.
That's the 12th degree humidity result. Jesus. Oh.
Yeah, it looks like all the rain is not in our county right now. I think they, around 5 p.m. they had us in a chance of isolated thunderstorms, maybe. But they might have... Now we only have like a 20% chance of rain tonight. Our humidity is 62%, which is better than it was... Really? There's a record low for this day for 42 degrees? When the hell did that happen? That's a damn good question. Because there ain't been no 42 degree low in sight that I can remember this time of year since we've been here. I want to know what year that was. Yes, I do. Oh my goodness. Alright. So that's not too bad there. And then we'll get our shrubs hanging out there. I'm still undecided if I'm going to add that tall guy back in over here. Haven't decided on that yet. Let's see, let's rotate our mat. Where we're working, I don't think it matters. But, you know, at least we're stabbing in a different angle, I guess. That one little piece was trying to break away and wander off. I didn't want them getting too carried away with that idea. I am looking forward to dinner. When am I not looking forward to dinner? I'm hungry. I'm always hungry. I had a little snack before we got started. Momo woke us up before we really wanted to be up. In all honesty, but he is but a pupper. A small pupper that has been battling some bladder issues for several months now. He got right up in my face and curd at me when I went to turn over. I'm like, oh, hi, hello. I'm like, what time is it even? At least it wasn't 6 a.m., I guess. And then the husband got up, and then I heard him go into the bathroom, and I'm like, damn it, I needed to pee. So I was laying there, waiting to go pee, waiting to hear him come out of the bathroom, and I never heard him come out, and then the next thing I know, Momo's gurring at me again. I'm like, didn't he get up to feed you? I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, where the hell is he? Is he still in the bathroom? And, I looked at the time and it was like an hour later. I was like, what? It's like I didn't even think I'd fallen back asleep. So then I got up and apparently they had been fed and the pig got its medication and here I was just very confused. Alright, now this is probably a little too much for this next section. More than likely. It's either feast or famine around here. It's either too much or not enough. But I guess it's better to have too much. One of the crabs has been out and about, so that's good. We weren't too sure about them. And they've switched shells, so we're not sure which crab it is. We don't know if it's Goon or if it's Gigantor. We're not entirely certain. Russell thinks it might be Goon. But I'm not sure now, because when I was looking at them, it could have been Gigantor. They looked a little bigger, because Gigantor was much bigger. Unless it was their shell that made them feel bigger. But I haven't seen them both up together in a little bit. And we knew that they were both alive as of maybe a month ago? Month and a half ago? Because one of them kept trying to dig into the glass, and I'm like, buddy, that's a glass wall. You're not going to go any further. So I think the husband got tired of hearing them scrape their claws on the glass for like the second hour in a row. And I think he went and directed him to a different location. Like, here, dig that way. He had to check the soil dampness anyway, or the coconut fiber sand combo that we've got going on in there, because it looked awfully dry. And we don't fully trust our what is it, hydrometer, I believe. We have a little sensor in there. We've gone through a few of them telling us what the humidity level is. And so we know when we have to spray the surface down. The surface looks pretty dry to me right now. So we might have to go and re-wet the coconut fiber sand mixture. He might need to go and stir it up, but we can't really do that until we see both crabs on the surface, because we don't want to accidentally disturb someone that may be in the middle of molting, because that's not going to do us any favors, or them. And the one pet store near us isn't selling them anymore. I think Russell got the last of the batch they had. The other store I think is, they just didn't have any when we were last there. So right now all we have is 2. Somebody's been up and about and eating recently, so we got that going. They're like the most hands-off pet I think we've ever had. Like, we keep checking in there. We're like, is there any movement, any action? Anybody been out and about? We were trying to use our one wireless camera to keep an eye on everybody in there, but we weren't getting the notifications, the proper notifications all the time. Sometimes it was only giving us notifications when it picked up our shadow. It's not that good of a camera, though. It's several years old at this point, and it was pretty inexpensive one at the time. I guess I didn't pop that up when I should have. My bad. Alright. So maybe we'll pop those guys into there. Probably not a bad location right there. So right now we're trying to save up or we're going to be trying to save up as much as we can after we take my mom to go see my brother. Because we got to start thinking about what we're going to do after my mom passes. We would have already started looking, I mean, I've sort of started looking into it, because I don't really want to stay here. The area wreaks havoc with my allergies. It has since the first couple of days that we moved here. And it feels like it's only gotten worse. And now it's starting to wreak havoc with the husband. Like, I want out of this area so bad at this point, but we can't right now. Because my mom doesn't want to move out of the area and be away from my dad's grave. And we're like, we've looked into it. It's possible to get you back here after you pass so you can be buried next to him. Like, we're not saying you can't be buried there. She's like, no, I don't want to leave the area. So part of me really wants to sell this place while the real estate market's still buying. Because our area is pretty overly priced, I think, for the area. But I mean, if you're selling, and people are trying to move into this area still constantly, looking for rentals that are astronomical. Okay. And it does need some work done. Like, it's definitely a handyman special. Or an investor DIY special. However you want to look at it. We have a door that has to be replaced. We have, there might be a small issue with the roof. I thought they fixed it. Russell said they didn't. I thought they had to have fixed it in order to be up there working on it. Or else it wouldn't have supported it. Like, because I remember the price jumping a couple more $100 because they had that issue suddenly. So I thought it was dealt with. And we have an issue with a part of one of the subfloors that needs to be replaced. That I'm aware of. I mean, a lot of times you have to disclose the shit that you're aware of so that the sellers or the buyers can't be like, you didn't tell us all this. And it's like, well, if I didn't know, I couldn't have told you. found one town I think I would like to move to. But that area has one of the trees that we think might be one of our bigger allergy triggers. So it's going to require a recon trip up that way. To see how bad it's going to be. Because we're not completely positive that that's what's doing it for me. But it might be a factor. Right now, all of the hay fields around us are definitely a factor. But we'll see. You alright?
Mm-hmm.
Did you cancel tonight, or?
No.
Alright. That's not looking too bad. This bit of fluff keeps wanting to really hold on to our mat here. Oh, cow. You have been in so much trouble today. He's obsessed with the dog's canned food. To the point that he's trying to go into the trash can and chew through the plastic bag that it got thrown away in to get at it. I'm like, you can't have the dog's food. Or even the remnants of it, so stop it. The last time he had any of the one food of the dogs, he started getting sick everywhere, but that was a prescription food that he somehow managed to get into. Can had gotten thrown in the recycling and he found it. And being the crazy critter that he is, he decided he was going to eat it. This morning my mom caught him either completely in the trash can or standing on the edge of the recycling buckets in our kitchen trying to get into the trash can. I think I was in the bathroom when I heard her yell that he's in the trash. Okay. So it's not going so bad. We got some nice little grassy guys. Coming in here along our lake front here. Careful. Now, I guess if we wanted to like really finish it off, you could take another piece of the same color felt and sandwich them together so that you covered the back so you didn't see all of it. But that's going to be more personal preference, I think. And it's really going to depend on how far you want to take that. And the felt's not that expensive. I probably could do it. I'm just not sure how I would go about it, because you're gonna see the sew line. I would either have to do like clear thread or something. Or we would have to have a border around it. But I think what we've been doing so far to hang it is good enough. I suppose if we really wanted to, we could like saturate the back with tacky glue or something, and then... Is that you?
Cow. Dude, you are driving me nuts today. No, that's Cow getting into my water.
Okay. I don't
know what your deal is getting in trouble.
I don't know, yeah.
Here, I'll go pour it into your bowl.
Like, I don't know what his deal is today. He's into everything. Like, we've got at least 2 to 3 bowls of water down. I don't know if he's just extremely bored today. I don't know. He's just being Cow today, I guess. But he is driving both of us absolutely insane today. Like, I cleaned the other water bowl this morning because it was empty and had dirt in it. And I couldn't remember the last time we washed it. Which is probably a bad thing. And I
actually swapped it out the other day.
In the bedroom?
Bedroom? Oh, no.
Yeah, that one.
On the kitchen one.
No, the one that my mom's supposed to keep putting water in, it was empty. There was dirt in the bottom of it. I have no idea when it was last washed. I was like, ugh. Because I had a thought of, oh, well, maybe Zuzu's hanging out in here because the water bowl in there is not good. So, I mean, I know for a fact there's water in that. He's just being all sorts of bored today, I guess. So, get these tips in here. Because the lake shape didn't come out quite how I was wanting it to be, and I didn't really see how odd it seemed until after I got stuff in around it, and by that time I was like, oh, Okay, now I felt like I was kind of stuck with the shape it was. Fixing it would have, or adjusting it would have been a bit of a project, so that's okay. We'll use these grasses here and the new shrubs coming in to kind of disguise the entire shape of it. Looks like this will be just enough to fill this in here. I could have taken this all the way across. No. I don't think we necessarily need to. Maybe we'll put that big shrub in the back. I don't know. Have to see how I'm feeling about it as we get over there. Don't fully know yet. I'm still thinking about it. What time is it? Okay. So we've got about an hour left to go today. Alright. Definitely want to make sure you tack down where you trimmed. If you trim, because you'll have all those little loose guys sticking up, and that might not be ideal for what you're doing. Okay. Now, let's see here. So looking at our sketch, let me see here. Far left, looking at my notes, a light green and mustard. Trying to figure out what order I want to do this in. Okay, so maybe we want to work out. Because then this one will be covered a little bit by that one, and this one will be covered. Okay. So far left, middle left, right, left. Okay, so that would be this one. A light green and Big Twist mustard. I've got 2 different shades of mustard, and I've got mustard in 2 different brands. Alright. So, let's see. That's paint box. And they look a little different from each other. Okay, so there's that one. And I need light green. I believe. Yeah. Okay. So now we gotta figure out how we're gonna do this. Like, do I want to mix these colors together like we do for our grass? I probably will, since it's like shrubbery. And the colors would be a little more integrated into each other. I mean, we could potentially do a hunter green base on them. And then, like, lay this down on top of that. But I don't know how much of the base of it would really shine through. I mean, we can but see what's gonna happen here, right? And if we don't like the first bit of this going in, we can always try to put something else on top of it. Just, I don't know if the striping is gonna necessarily work there. Alright, so let's see here. Can't really separate these guys because they're kind of attached now. So how about we do this? Nope, you go back there. Okay. So, let's start with a hunter green base. And we'll kind of go from there. So, yes, I know this is shaped a little funny. It's fine. We'll get there. Just gonna try to slow down a little bit on this one. And we'll see how we go here. See if we can get this into more of a shrubbery looking shape. Let's hope everybody's Saturday, Jesus Christ. Hope everybody's Sunday's going well. We are still trying to be turned into baked potatoes down here. So that I'm not real fond of. But there's not a lot we can do about that. Alright, so let's see here if we can maybe add a little squiggle of that coming up. I don't want it to be too pointy, but just kind of trying to get a shrubbery shape down here that we feel somewhat confident with. Oh, hang on. We haven't done that in a minute. Okay, grab a little bit more fluff. See if we can get this to a bit more of a shape that we are somewhat happy with. Right, because we don't want it to be too complicated of a shape, because we're going to have to come back in here and highlight this guy. Dun dun dun. The dreaded highlighting. Let's see. It's gonna look a little different than our sketch. And definitely a bit different from Bob's. But we've mostly followed Bob's. Mostly. Alright, I think I want to extend you out a little bit further. To the left here. That might be far enough. Maybe. And I've got a couple more that I want to try to squish in here. Crunch, 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 crunch. So, hope everybody had a great weekend. Tell me what your favorite art medium is. I'm not going to assume it's fiber art, because this could be your first time, out of curiosity. Taking a look-see. I don't know. What do we think? Maybe one more arm here? Not going to worry about that too much at the moment. So we're going to have another shrub kind of sitting here that's going to probably cover a good amount to that. Alright. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. Feels a bit more shrubby-like. And we're gonna have some grasses coming in here. So we might have to do these shrubs in stages. Okay. So we did want to highlight this with a combination of our light green and our mustard color. So that's what we're gonna work on now, as gently as we can. We'll see how it looks as we go. How we want to fully handle it. All right, I'm gonna snip that there. Who got up? Oh. That's why I didn't get an answer. Okay. I think I know who got up. this round of highlight in. Oh, we're out of our light green that we grabbed. Alright, we're gonna grab, I guess we should finish with the light green before we grab the yellow. Probably should. I want this to be airy. We don't want it too solid, so I'm trying to just ever so gently barely roll it into a shape that I can work with here. And if you need to adjust where your fiber is placed, remember, don't stab down and scrape. That's just gonna snap your needle. You want to surface scrape, not in and pull. Definitely want to be a surface dweller for the purposes of scraping the fluff. So it's not going to look exactly like Bob's, like I've been saying. This isn't paint. It's not going to behave the same way as paint. But we can try to follow along, and we can try to get something that looks similar. As best as we can here. Okay. What? Why are you whining? No, it's not time yet. It's not time yet, my guy. Not yet, Momo. Alright. Looks like they switched beds, and Zuzu vanished. Probably to go hang out with my mom for a bit. Alright. Just working on getting our next color ready here. Alright, so again, we want it spread out. We want to see that darker color underneath shining through. So kind of think like snow on a mountain, where we want the highlights to break. So we don't want to hide all of the dark color, we just went to the trouble of putting in place. And that would not do us any favors. we weren't that deep into the mat on this particular run, so that's good. Alright. And when you stretch out your fiber bits, whichever type of fiber fluff you're using, it's going to look a little stringy, almost like delicate, like lace kind of, as you are tapping in here. So we get our other shrubbery colors figured out. And you can still scrape them around to try to get them to where you want them to sit before you get too stabbed in. Okay, I'm gonna grab some of our mustard color here, because I did have this one two-toned. I actually think I have all of them two-toned for all I was originally planning them. Okay. So I don't know how well this piece will be visible as we get it worked in here, but you know, it'll do a little something. There's probably a motorcycle gonna go by in a minute. I can hear it idling somewhere nearby. It's probably across the street. So I don't know how loud it's gonna be. Or maybe it was going to our neighbors. Because it sounded like it just shut off. Okay. And that's not so bad. We can kind of see that color going in there. That's not good. I'm almost out of a drink. We are having pizza tonight. Like, nothing beats homemade pizza. It's hard too. It's a pain to do. So it just takes a little bit, and then you have to wait for the dough to rise and stuff. So, I mean, if you need pizza now, it's not really gonna take care of that pizza itch, but if you're patient enough or have the time to do it from scratch, finally found a bread flour that's been pretty consistent. I was having trouble getting our previous, we're still using the same recipe, our previous bread flour to be the same texture and be consistent with most batches. Something terrible. And we switched bread flours to one that's a little more expensive, and oh my goodness, the difference. I think it's like $1 more a bag, maybe. Excuse me. Just holy cow. I did not think it would make that much of a difference. I was wrong. Because, wow, it has been consistent every time. And I'm not measuring it any differently. So it's not that. It's kind of crazy. So in this instance, I will say the name brand flour does make a difference. So we were using Great Value bread flour because that's what we could barely afford. And we switched to the King Arthur just to try it. And wow. Every round of pizza we've made so far. I think this is our second bag that we have used of it. And I got like four pizza dough recipes out of the other bag, out of one bag, which also surprised me. I didn't think I'd get quite that many. But we certainly did. Whew. I will say it started to get a little warm in here. So I'm just taking a moment to stretch here. It's good to take some stretch breaks. Your back will thank you. Your legs will thank you. That little spur kind of vanished a little bit. I'm not really sure why, but it did. So I don't want to kill all of our dark color. I want to keep that. It's important. It's going to be our shadows. Okay. Alright. So we've got that there. I'm going to have another one like here. So we might have to start putting the grass in so that it looks right. Just need to check my notes here. What color was the grass supposed to be? Glorious Gold, Forest Green, and Varsity Yellow. Really? Okay, so there's our Glorious Gold. Really? Varsity Yellow? That's a Varsity Gold. Did I mean Varsity Gold? Because I never pulled. I don't have a. Do I even have a Varsity Yellow? I don't see a Varsity Yellow. So I have a buttercup. I have a varsity golden. Brain. What are you doing? Like, that color's not in my bucket. I've got our chocolate brown. No. Got our coffee bean. Still in the bucket. I've got our hunter green. Our varsity green. Did it escape the bucket? Stranger things have happened. Our olive green, our white. I'm so confused. No? Okay. I guess it's varsity gold I meant. I didn't even remember to pull it. Okay, so this section here, we're going to have a few colors in play, unfortunately. So I might have to figure out what to do with everybody overnight. Alright, so our grass, because I have to put some grass in before I can do the next shrubby. Alright, so it was going to be the glorious gold, forest green, no, not that much, get back in your bag, forest green, this yellow, don't know what I was thinking. I don't see any runaway bags of fluff anywhere. And then the rust color. Got bags of fluff everywhere. Okay. Tuck you back into your bag. Okay. Fuzz. Now's not the time to stick to my face. That was rude. I have quite the bit of fluff coloration happening here. Alright. So, for this section, I'm going to tack down the base first and kind of flare out the rest of it. That rust is very bold, shall we say? At least in this instance, it kind of wants to swallow everything up here. So these things on my fingers are finger coats. They're finger protectors. COTES. It's just to keep me from injuring my fingers. Think of them as like big ass, like fake leather thimbles, essentially. Except you can stab into them. So you still have to be careful. But it prevents too much damage from happening to you should you stab through them. But our goal is to not do that. So let's do our best to not. I'm just kind of scraping the colors out and fanning them out. Just a little bit, just give us more of a wild grass. I still feel like there's a piece of fuzz touching my face. What is happening? It's distracting, sorry. Just give it more of like a wildy grass kind of feel here. So it's a bit of a different grass shade than what we were doing up above, and that's fine. This is going to be closer to us. It's going to look a little different. So we'll work on getting that put into place there. So grass is a little time consuming with how I do it. Because it's a lot of put down and then snip and then put down and then snip, and right now I'm trying to do the base first so I can try to keep it somewhat even. And I know it looks a little stripy at the moment. But as we go, it will lose a bit of its stripiness. So different layers will get mixed in on top of each other. And then if you need to like retwist your fluff snake, that will also probably change where the colors are sitting when you go to put them down. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Breaks it up a little bit. And you can make your grass as tall or as short as you really want to in here. Alright, and you can come at this from an angle if you really want. Like you can kind of have it sloping down towards the pathway if you so choose. Alright, and if you're gonna do the snips, make sure you cut all of your fibers before you pull away. Because I've had it before where I went to pull away and not everybody was detached. And we were still attached to our project. Oh. I mean, it didn't hurt anything, but it was... We definitely had a longer misshapen tail in there. Be careful when you're trimming that you don't actually cut your project itself. Oh, that's very helpful, Windows 11. Very hot weather right now. Thank you. I didn't know that. That was oh so helpful. It's not like my legs are sitting here sweating like crazy because of how warm it is getting in our room, even though the house has, well, the rest of the house has AC. We're trying to funnel it into our room with fans, but thank you for explaining this to me. Otherwise, how would I have known? Wow. That is just so helpful. And I don't know if that's all completely accurate, because when I got up, it's like, oh, heavy rain in 45 minutes. I'm like, are you sure? It never happened. You lied, Windows 11, you lied. I will not trust the weather forecast from you. I will go and double check 2 other places. Although, I guess to be fair, Windows 11 hasn't been much better than our local guys lately. Like, oh yeah, thunderstorms. Okay. Where are they? Never happened. And then you go back and look and there's no sign of them predicting thunderstorms. I'm like, We got put under a severe thunderstorm watch last night. And I was like, oh, that's a bit of a surprise. And then we never got a thunderstorm, and an hour before the watch was supposed to end, they canceled it early, and I'm like, okay. Are you feeling alright, National Weather Service? You seem confused. I feel like they jumped the gun on that one. But they got some... One of their offices in a different state got some flack for how they handled a tornado a few days ago, so maybe they're being a little extra don't know if cautious is the word. Maybe trying to overcompensate now since they messed up or someone messed up their handling of it. Okay, let's skip that. All right. So we didn't get a whole lot done today, but yet we did at the same time. We got our pop up here so we get a better look at this guy. So we got our pathway finished being filled in. We then went back and highlighted it. And then we add our grassy bits on the back, and we started to add in our shrubs. I'm never really all that good at doing the shrubbies, but you know, it's a shrubby. And then we'll do a little bit more grass in here. Coming down to here, and then we'll do our another shrubby, and then we'll do some more grass, then we'll do another shrubby, kind of sitting closer to the bottom here. Is I think how I want to handle that. Just because that's how I think we're gonna handle it. So let's see here. So if we put that one in there, and then I take these guys up to here. So you can do different length grass if you so choose. Grass length is totally up to you. I probably could have taken that a little bit down lower, but that should be okay. I do want to get a little bit of this kind of, maybe we'll do a little bit of a shorter piece here. Kind of wanted to have it like sort of fallen into or leaning into the pathway a bit there. Just a little bit. Alright, careful snips. And then we'll get that guy all tacked down into place. All right. So we're almost out of our grass combination here. All right, and we'll kind of get that. Oh, if I could stop stabbing the end of the finger protector. that would be great. Okay. So getting this, remember to tap the bottom back down in after you just snipped. And you know, if you have some brown poking through, then you have some brown poking through, that's fine. That's why we put the brown down. Kind of like how we have some brown shading through up into here. Just kind of looks like the ground's a little patchy. And that's fine. It's going to be your preference on how you want that to go. Alright, and then we'll work on getting the next bit of grass popped into here. Get that trimmed off. And yeah, like you can pack this as tight and overlapped as you want. Really gonna be up to you. There. And then get this. We might have like one more. Don't want that being just that shade in there. So let's see. We'll probably, yeah, see if we can get this into a bit of a V shape here. Alright, let's see if we can get that. In there. So I've never done this color grass combination before, and it looked kind of better in the sketch than it does going in, but you know what, we're gonna go with it. We're just gonna roll with it. And we'll see where this takes us. You know, we're kind of just experimenting. Just kind of rolling with how things are going to be. There's nothing wrong with that. Definitely some fall color feels in the front of this. So we're going to have another shrub sitting about, yeah, about in here. And we'll do some spiky guys in here for this shrub. And then we'll pick back up with our grass. And then we'll do our last shrubby over here, and then we'll finish filling in with our grass there. And then we have to tackle this side. So we still have a little ways to go, but I think we're gonna stop there for today because I'm just too hot. I'm so hot it's becoming a distraction at this point. So it's different. We'll see. I'm not completely sold on the rust being in there. I think for the next set we won't put as much rust in there. And we'll see if I like that a little bit better. But, yeah, I think we might have got a little carried away with that amount of rust. But that's going to do it for today. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon working on this guy. Don't forget to follow the socially links. I think they're somewhere down below. Or out there on the About page. That'll take you to the Ko-fi, the YouTube, the Instagram, and the X Twitter. And you'll see photos that we did, or a photo that of what we did last night on the bonus painting stream. I hope everybody has a good start to their week tomorrow, and that it is a quiet week for you. And until next time, you guys, have a good one.